A gusty, blustery night here at Corbett Field on the campus of All Saints Episcopal School on the western edge of Fort Worth, as we are on the leading edge of a front that is moving in, bringing impending rain, but we should be fine to get all scheduled 7 in tonight in this area round of the TAPS 2018 District 1 playoffs. All knotted up at 1 apiece in the bottom of the 4th inning. Cade Farr steps in, and he was the one that batted that run in. As this one, high fastball, goes off of the helmet of home plate umpire James Russell. And he's got to walk this one off. He's checked down by Mike Fahler, head coach of the Saints, and likewise also head coach Michael McCollum. And that allows Zach Roberts, who just threw his 45th pitch of the game, to confer with his catcher. And James Russell gives the go-ahead and says a couple of things to Cade Farr. Bell rung just a little bit. One ball, no strikes to Cade Farr, who singled the 1-1 to Cade Farr. And the pitch, this one high and outside for ball 2. Saying Cade Farr singled into a shallow right field. That brought Logan Britt home back in the first to score the one and only Saints run of the night. 2 balls, 1 strike to the senior. And he lines this one off the mound and into center field. And back-to-back singles for the swinging senior Cade Farr. And that dry spell that he was on as long since, well, I would say evaporated, but as that puppy had eyes there, and well outside of the reach of the shortstop Luke Broussard. But here comes A.J. Mendolia, the second baseman, who's hitting just under 500 for the regular season within district. 289 overall on the year. And there goes Cade Farr on a hit and run. Cade Farr will swing around to third base as A.J. Mendolia singles into shallow right field. And back-to-back singles have runners at the corners for All Saints with no outs in the bottom of the 4th. Well, another nice call by Mike Fahler, who's had plenty of those, especially throughout district play. And then had the infielders of the Knights shimmying back and forth on exactly where to go and what to do. So at a big moment of the game, getting the start tonight, he's 0 for 1 tonight after flying out to left field, is Will Shipman, the junior. And it does give Mike Fahler a lefty in the lineup as the runner goes again to second, and the bunt is pushed just foul along the third base line. Mike Fahler has every intention of getting the 2 base runners both in scoring position with no outs in the bottom of the 4th. Shipman, as we said, a .222 hitter on the year. And a quick check at Mendolia over at first. A.J. Mendolia, also a player on the football team. He's in the rotation at linebacker in that 5-2 defense of the Saints. The 0-1 to Shipman, and he pulls back to swing after threatening to bunt, but he's ahead of this one and knocks it foul. Which normally the case, if you're pulling back after threatening to bunt, you're late on a pitch, but Shipman got ahead of that one. And he's down 0-2 in the count. Nobody out, runners at the corners, a 1-1 game, bottom of the 4th. And Shipman, here comes the 0-2, and this one outside by Zach Robert for a ball. As those making the roughly 4-hour drive from Austin are filling up the left side of the grandstands here at Corbett Field. It's a packed house along the Saints side, as one might expect. The 1-2 is fouled off, out of play to the left side. And I can see over my left shoulder that the majority of the Saints football team is here to support their baseball brethren. Grayson, Mann, and others. And a throw back to check on Mendolia, and he's back safely. Well, the Saints sticking with the white jerseys because since they've worn them, Mike Faylor said, hey, we haven't lost. So, you know how baseball goes. And the 1-2 is a chopper ground ball, but bobbled by Luke Broussard, and short. One run comes home, and aboard safely is Will Shipman on the error. So Cade Farr makes his way in from third base on the E6. And that one didn't take a hop or anything. It was in the glove of Luke Broussard, and it just squirted out. He didn't close it quick enough. And in doing so, also allowed A.J. Mendolia to go to second base. Saints ahead 2-1 in the bottom of the 4th inning. And here comes Mason Speaker, the catcher. He grounded out to third back in the 2nd inning. Runners at first and second, still nobody out for the Saints. 4 hits in this game, but have scored their 2 runs, one of those being on error. And now catcher Carter Quo wants to go out and talk to Zach Robert, the senior. We shift up the signals a little bit with a runner at second again. Mason Speaker settles back in. And the 1-0. It's a fastball right down Main Street, and it's popped up, drifting foul, and goes beyond the stands, well out of play. Though a few in the Saints student section did vacate their seats. They were well out of harm's way. A momentary lull in this 20-mile-an-hour wind just for a moment, and the 1-1 comes home, and this swung on the fist as he gulps this one into left field. Mason Speaker. Mendolia comes around. The throw to home is wide and bobbled. That will allow 1 run. A.J. Mendolia to come home and allows Will Shipman to move up to third and Mason Speaker to second. So an RBI single by Speaker brings A.J. Mendolia home for the 3rd run of the night. The Saints now lead 3-1, and Will Shipman on the single goes to second, but then on the bobbled throw in, which may not be the loudest of errors, but still will be charged in E2, has allowed runners now at second and third, still nobody else. And we go with a conference by head coach Michael McCollum. And while they do that, on the Regents side, we will step away momentarily. Don't go anywhere, though. The Saints have moved up with 2 runs in the bottom of the 4th to lead 3-1 in the bottom of the 4th. Back here in a moment on the Texas 24/7 television network. Well, a stellar opportunity after the conference on the mound for Cedric Bowman, who steps in. He's singled. He's 1 for 1 tonight, back in the 2nd. Runners at second and third. First base is open. Nobody out in the bottom of the 4th. 2 runs have already come across, and the Saints lead 3-1. The pitch is a breaking ball to open things up to Cedric Bowman for a strike. Bowman, who has just become stronger and stronger as the season has went on. Logan Britt was expected to be the starting center fielder, but both defensively and offensively, Cedric Bowman has been just too good to take out of the lineup. As he swings, and this is on a curveball for strike 2. The 0-2 to Bowman. And he lines this one over to third. And Brett Moore gets it in time. But one run comes home. A tough play, and you got to credit Brett Moore over at third base on a screamer on the left side of the infield. Dove, picked up that ball, and then rocketed it over to first in a nice stretch, certainly in time for Josh Day over there at first. But one run did come home, and that was Will Shipman. So 3 runs across here in the bottom of the 4th. And back to the top of the order in Jacob Speaker. He squares up to bunt, and this one is fouled off directly back into the net. 0 for 2 tonight with a strikeout back in the first for Jacob Speaker. Luke Fricks came in to courtesy run for Mason Speaker over at second base, and Luke has made his way to third. And only one away. And a nice little soft bunt that's tossed home, and Luke Fricks is out at the plate. As that bunt didn't go quite far enough, perhaps. And you see, as that has been a pretty hard spot in the infield, right in front of home plate, harder than normal. But a nice little underhanded toss, and blocking that plate, every bit of it, and even a tag for good measure, was Carter Quo behind the plate. So on the fielder's choice, Jacob Speaker is over at first. And here comes Andrew Bird for his third at bat of the game. He is 0 for 2 tonight. As we mentioned, did reach, though, on a pass ball after the swinging strikeout in the first. So 2 away in the bottom of the 4th. A 4-1 All Saints lead. And here comes the Birdman. With a runner in Jacob Speaker over at first base. And there are 2 outs, but still Jacob Speaker is a decent threat to run. He's 6 for 8 in stolen bases on the year. The opening pitch is low and in the dirt on a fastball for ball 1. About 73 degrees as this wind continues to blow in from right field. Quick throw over to first, and just back in time is Jacob Speaker, who may have dove a little too quickly and didn't slide as much as he thought. But now the Saints on his jersey is completely obscured with red dirt. The 1-0 as Jacob Speaker tears off. It's a swinging strike on a curveball, and a slide down safely into second base with the stolen base is Jacob Speaker. And the count moves to 1-1 for Andrew Bird. And I think Mike Fahler has identified, and definitely accurately, the arm strength of Carter Quo for the Knights behind the plate. Wants to get these runners in scoring position almost every time they're on. The 1-1, and that is a breaking ball that is called for a strike. Nice pitch by Zach Robert, who's had his toughest inning of work so far here in the bottom of the 4th after having his easiest an inning ago in the 3rd, where he only threw 13 pitches in that one. Came into this inning throwing 44. It's a high, chin-high fastball for ball 2. And with 2 away, a runner on second. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Andrew Bird. The pitch, swinging and missing for the 3rd out. Put down swinging for the 2nd time tonight. That's the 3rd out. But the Saints get 3 runs on the board, and they do it courtesy of 3 hits, 1 error, and 1 left stranded. To the top of the 5th inning on a game that is moving right quickly along. 4 innings down, and we've only been playing for 60 minutes. We'll be back here. A 4-1 All Saints lead here on the Texas 24/7 Television Network.